Hey guys, Topple24 back from those reviews, and we're talking about the main maps for core level matches in Modern Warfare 2. So these are going to be 6v6 combat, including domination, team deathmatch, kill confirmed, hardpoint, search and destroy, and free-for-all. Your maps are going to be AlBagra Fortress, Brandenburg Hotel, Crown Raceway or Grand Prix, El Asilo, pardon my pronunciation, Embassy, Farm, Mercado Las Almas, Santa Sina Border Crossing, Tarak, Valderas Museum, and Zarqua Hydroelectric. So let's get into the nitty-gritty about each individual map. Starting off with AlBagra Fortress, I'm going to zoom in and show you what specifically this entails for the map. So this is the layout of the map right here. As you can see, it's really small and condensed. There's a lot of corners, and so there's not too much sniping room right here like a lot of the maps. However, there are a couple that you can actually snipe on that don't seem like you can. But for this one, I would use a lot of close quarters weapons. The shotguns are really not showing up in this game so far, so I wouldn't suggest that. I would look towards your SMGs and maybe your M4s, because your M4 is kicking butt right now. Next one is the Brandenburg Hotel, and we'll jump right into the layout of this map. This is the load-in screen. Once again, as you can see, there's a ton of corners, a little bit bigger map than the Fortress, but this sucker, you cannot get around the corner and snipe quickly enough, use shotgun quickly enough. Pistols are not bad because you're able to two-shot people, but once again, you really want your SMG, possibly your FSS Hurricane right here, because it's nice and quick with a little scope on it if you can get that yet, or your M4. The only problem with the M4 is that you're not going to have that fire rate to damage rate as fast as your SMGs. Next map is El Asilo, which is once again another small map. One big thing I do like about this, though, there's a lot more room in between the buildings and whatnot, so you actually may have a little bit more sniper room. Most of the reason why I'm talking about snipers right now is because they're one-hit KOs. They're really good as long as you're down the sights and then that you're stabilized and ready to fire. Your big amount of fights are going to go on that center building, though, so those corners you're really going to have to check. You have upstairs and downstairs in that building, and a lot of people like camping out on each corners of the building, so you got to watch everywhere that you run, and once you go downstairs you got to watch your back, so take 2 people in there at least. Our next map on the list is the Embassy. Once again, as you can see with a lot of the maps on Modern Warfare 2, really small map. You're going to be cutting the corners a lot, tons of camping spots up and down the stairs. You're going to be walking into every single room. SMG, M4, don't suggest utilizing a sniper on this map whatsoever. The next one on the list is Farm 18. I originally actually thought it was Farm, to tell you the truth. And finally, for people that want to start sniping, this is actually one of the maps that you can, mostly because there's a lot of rooftops that you can actually stand on and snipe from a farther distance. The problem with this, though, there's a lot of cover for those that are not going to be, killed by snipers and whatnot. Like every single map, once again, corners are your enemy. You better be watching it if you're running in with an SMG and M4. Keep bringing up the M4 because the M4 is notorious on this game, from what I'm seeing, to be a power weapon, at least in the early stages. Now we have one of the most hated maps from my understanding, mostly because of the fact that everybody kept leaving the game, Santa Sina Border Crossing. So this depiction doesn't do it justice. However, you have cars everywhere, so it's fairly difficult to actually see many players. You have a tunnel on the right side as well as you have a little bit on your left side as well, so that you can go through there. However, a lot of times you have people just camping in both of those locations, or I didn't know to begin with, you can actually climb up on the cars and actually camp. A lot of people were sniping, which I don't know how people are getting some iron sights on a sniper from distance, but yeah, if you want to do sniping again, this is not a bad spot. You pretty much just spawn in, climb up one of the RVs, and you can snipe from a long distance. With domination, it's highly suggested in my opinion, mostly because of the fact that Bravo is right in the middle, and that's a great spot to be sniping at. Next one on the list is Tarak. Enroll. Like a lot of the other maps, as you can see, there's a lot of corners, but there's a lot more space in this map, which is really, really nice. So you can utilize sniping if you want to on the straightaways, right where that yellow dot is. If you just go due west of that to that open area, a lot of sniping potential, as well as on domination. Once again, probably going to be one of your best games, mostly because you'll be able to camp if you're a big camper, if you want to, or whatever. Due north of Alpha, there's that small building, but there's also that gray building up there too. That's a great location to snipe as well. And if you went that close to close combat at Bravo. Next one on the list is the Valdores Museum. Luckily, as you can see, this is one of the larger maps, but again, there's so many corners, there's not any good sniping locations, there's a couple straightaways, I guess, but you're really either going to be camping again. That's one thing I'm actually not enjoying too much about Modern Warfare 2 is the fact that you're really having to just work every single corner. I guess that's more realistic if you want to. A lot of your fights are going to be in the south gallery in the courtyard, mostly because that's where everybody converges. Every so often you'll have a fight in the pool in the garden circle as the people are trying to flank you from either sides. But I would have to say this is a pretty fun map, especially 6v6. I almost can see possibly a little bit larger, like 8v8 on this map. Once again, you're also looking at your SMGs. I would more suggest an M4 with a nice scope on it, mostly because of the fact that you're working with a little bit more distance and it has better firepower at distance. And last but not least, sorry for my pronunciation, Zarqua Hydroelectric. Once again, another large map. However, you can see though, tons of corners, tons of obstacles, pretty difficult. If you look at the largest building on this, it's going to be towards the middle western side. You're mostly going to be working out of there for camping and whatnot, as well as that's where a lot of the fights will go through. Not too much from when I was playing was going to the eastern side, but if you want to be flanking and whatnot, you're probably going to be looking over there. Jumping in the water is okay and all to be able to get up around people, but just my opinion, this game is really difficult to be able to sneak up on a lot of people unless you're obviously crouched. People can hear footsteps from miles away, it seems like, so definitely make sure you get yourself a good headset so that you can listen to everything really in depth so that people can't get up behind you, because they have the elimination style kills from behind. So I really hope you all enjoyed the video. Hopefully this helps you out a little bit, trying to give you the best tips and tricks, the best weapons for each map. This one especially, you're looking at SMGs and M4s. SMGs mostly because a lot of the close range, even though it looks like a larger map, still suggests that. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. Hope you have a great night.